Today, I'm going to share what I have learned in understanding the self, which is the self, society, and culture. Do you believe that the way you understand yourself is influenced by the things you see in your environment? So, what is self? Self is private and independent, which means you are now living with your own definition of self. It is you who define it, nothing else. And of course, I learned that the importance of understanding the self is to love who you really are. And when it comes to society and culture, everything you see and feel now are part of your social world. And according to social constructivists, they clearly define that self is constantly struggling to fit in the society where we belong. When you talk about trying to fit in, it doesn't guarantee that you will get a positive effect to yourself because it has a negative effect. You are the only person who can assess yourself if what you are doing is right or wrong. The idea of anthropologist about self, Marcel Mauss, he is a French anthropologist in which he clearly explained the idea of self and culture. According to him, self has two faces, the moi and persone. Moi is your basic identity that makes who you are as a person, and the persone is the one who makes certain adjustment about yourself. We can make positive and negative changes about ourselves because our persona is always part of it. For example, if your friends are taking cigarettes, possible you will be affected by their behavior. So you will try to do it, and because you tried it, your persona chooses to adjust even if you don't take it at first. Our society is influential. We do things based on what we see or feel in our environment. So this is self. That's why understanding the self is critical and difficult because everything is a matter of choice. So when we talk about self and development of the social world, how did we develop as a person? How did I develop this way? Why I am so confident in speaking compared to others? The answer is possible. This is how I see within my own family because they taught me this way. That's how I develop as a person. And about Mead and Vygotsky, they discuss the idea of self and development of the social world. According to them, humans develop based on how they acquire language and interaction with others. I don't know if you believe them or not, but for me it's true. Everything I observe in my social world influence me on how I understand myself now. If I have a good mindset, possible I have a good personal observation about my family. If not possible, I don't have a good personal observation about them. But do not get discouraged. Why? Because in every rule there is exemption. Not everything I see in my environment, whether positive or negative, affects the way I understand myself. Therefore, it's very critical when we talk about understanding the self. It's a journey, it's a long and wide journey, so that's how Mid and Vygotsky define self. So we should not worry about difficulty of understanding the self because it's a part of our learning journey. About self and families, our family is the most important part of the society. They are considered as our immediate family. They are the ones who taught us on how we can handle ourselves better. If we are handled properly by our own family, we define ourselves as a good person despite we encounter a lot of failures. But if we are not handled properly by our family, it's possible that the way you look at yourself now is not good at all. We are all affected when we talk about our own family. They say, without a family, biologically or sociologically, we cannot survive as a human person. It's very difficult to deal with our own lives without a family. It's not easy to run the best of your life without the support of your family. Next is the gender and the self. Gender can be changed but not your sex. We only have two sexes, male and female. Meaning, the way I see myself now as female, I choose to be a female. That's why I act like a woman as part of the society. The same with males. If you choose to be a male, you will act like a man. That's the idea when you talk about self, society, and culture. I know that society and culture play a greater role in defining self because our self is just a small portion. Our self is very flexible. It will change from time to time. As we go through life, it will change. That's why let's all be careful with knowing or engaging ourselves to everything that surrounds us. That's all that I learned in understanding the self.